Good morning, and welcome to NAB, and welcome to the Autodesk booth, and welcome Rodrigo.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Rodrigo came all the way from São Paulo, Brazil, to do this presentation, so I really
so
appreciate
glad
that.
about it. Thank you very much, Bill.
And what Rodrigo is going to take us through is what I think is probably one of the more interesting workflow demonstrations. We don't often include a lot of the other Autodesk products in our M&E presentations, but I think this is a great example. So why don't you take it away?
Yes, Bill. So I want to start saying that I love sports. I have like a preview experience in working on sports for TV, broadcast. So I really believe that when we connect technology, we can gain like a lot of experience and a lot of like good stuff inside the work we are gonna do to broadcast sports. So my first part of my demo, we are gonna talk about 3ds Max all over the demo, of course, but the main key here is the connectivity that 3ds Max has with all products that Autodesk has. How many products do we have in Autodesk?
I think we have more than 150 products in the Autodesk environment, so lots of different industries. But the cool thing about 3ds Max is it actually connects to a lot of those products for design visualization purposes. It's actually sitting inside of, I think, 19 different suites from Autodesk.
Wow. That's amazing. So we are going to have like a stadium. We have chosen the Keenan Memorial Stadium in North Carolina. We want to surround it with an urban area from a real-world 3D data. We're gonna bring some data from InfraWorks using FBX connection, and then we are gonna add some experience of like wind simulation. Have you ever done is there anyone who ever done this?
Yes, actually, this was an important workflow that was actually demonstrated already for the Super Bowl. So Fox Sports decided to use this kind of idea of pre-visualizing through 3ds Max and CFD all the wind coming through the stadium during the game day so that people could kind of understand the challenges of kicking field goals in that environment.
That's the kind of connected technology that we can have here using 3ds Max. So my second part of the demo, we are going to talk about how to do the overlay information. We have like so great new features to create like a compass animation to tell where the wind's blowing. We are going to make an info background animation, connect the wind speed value with a real-world data. My third part of the demo, we are going to build a lineup experience here. Like we are going to think about a little bit of VR and who's going to connect this VR thing. This game experience thing is Stingray. So we are going to pack up everything up and send to a Stingray, which is our new game engine inside Autodesk.
Right, so yet another new product, a Stingray game engine, which I think you'll be impressed, allows you to see things in real time.
Exactly. So that's the stadium. You're going to give credits to Trevor. He did the model here. So that's like a sketchbook, a SketchUp model that we have imported here. So let's say I want to bring all the InfraWorks data here inside 3ds Max. So we have exclusively done that using FBX, and boom, we have all the city that is here inside my 3ds Max.
Right, so from InfraWorks, you can see we've got all the accurate real-world data of the entire environment, the whole urban environment.
Yes, that's how we did it. So you are in InfraWorks, selecting an area, which is the stadium area. We have all the real-world 3D data, and we are inside 3ds Max right now using the FBX connection. So that's how we did it. That's the stadium here inside a real-world data, and I'm going to prove you. If I select here my daylight system, let's say I want to look for my compass here, north, south, east, and west, and if we open the Google SketchUp, the Google Maps here, we're going to match the same orientation. That's brilliant. That's awesome. So let's start building our wind simulation. But before we build the wind simulation, we need to send the stadium to a CFD software in order to build the real wind simulation so we can visualize here inside 3ds Max.
Right.
So I need to send the stadium to CFD.
Which stands for Computational Fluid Dynamics.
Brilliant. So in order to do that, we have reshape tool here inside 3ds Max, which is the Boolean Tool. We have a new interface, and I'm going to reduce the amount of poly here inside 3ds Max using the new Boolean tool. So I have like created several primitives here. I'm gonna add the operands here so I can select, and adding all my geometry here is gonna be really easy. I can select everyone and subtract, and in the end, I will have like a new stadium which is gonna be really low poly mesh, really quick. And the good point is I can open and we have like a new Boolean Explorer. So we can every time come here and change the subtraction.
Right, so the type of operation. So while Rodrigo is doing this, he's basically kind of simplifying this model to something that is easier to transport over to CFD.
Yes, so sending to CFD, we are gonna send the 3D model, the 3D mesh, which is gonna work as a proxy, and we're gonna calculate all the wind speed, the values, inside CFD software. We're gonna come back here into 3ds Max and see the data, because the data is something, I don't know, it's boring, it's only like a math data. We need to see that data in order to everyone understand what's going on here.
Right, so it does this real-world calculation, but the representation of the data, it's a bit basic, right? So
yes,
we've got all the power of 3ds Max here to actually take that that data and make it more visual, more attractive, more meaningful to the viewer.
Exactly. So I'm going to import the data. The data came as an Excel file, and we will open the east. We are calculating the wind comes from the east here. It's loaded inside 3ds Max. We are going to have like all the data in a point cloud simulation here, like data. I'm going to hide it. I don't want to see that data right now. I want to create the wind. So I will say, where is the path source here? Where the wind is blowing? So I will select the east geometry that we have calculated. And the good point is the 3D points works really well, because when I change the wind position here, it automatically updates with the shape of my stadium. So
accurately.
This is really cool. And the good point is I want to see, I don't know, for example, I want to add some real information about the wind speed. So I'm going to add a new modifier called CFD Color Vertex. I have to select the point cloud from my scene. And as soon as I do it, I'm going to open a shader. We can develop shaders, real great shaders using shader effects. We have developed one just to create a great experience of wind simulation. So now we have here our wind simulation using a nice shader here.
And again, the variation in color is showing you the speed of the wind.
Exactly. The red means that wind is too strong. The blue and green means it's getting slower. So we can see like really cool things here inside 3ds Max. So I'm gonna give you like a sneak peek how to send that to our game engine. So before doing that, I have to select what I have to convert. I need to convert to Stingray material. Imagine that like we have like a new feature here inside Max where we can convert materials, maps, maybe lights. I want to convert to another kind of lights or materials. So I want to convert standard materials, which is this kind of model, into Stingray materials. So we have a great tool. It's going to help a lot of animation studios to convert scenes from, I don't know, one configuration to another one. It's going to be really visual. We can script, and I have done like a new script called Stingray. I'm going to convert. I don't want to back up my file. I don't want to convert my render. And I have selected only the stadium here. And I say, OK, I will apply my conversion only what I have selected. So now the scene converter is just converting my materials. It's done. I'm going to close. And from standard material, it's going to, boom, convert it to a Stingray material. So I'm ready to send everything to Stingray. So I can select everything, connect to Stingray. It's a seamless connection. I'm going to send my selection. I will look up for my folder inside Stingray, and I will name it as a stadium, stadium.fbx. So I'm sending. Stingray is blinking here, so Stingray already understands that the data is being sending. So I'm sending the data to Stingray. I can open Stingray, So my folder here received all my files. I can look for my stadium, and boom, here my stadium. In 3D, I can take a snapshot, I can add in my scene, and that's real visualization here.
Yeah, this is so cool because Max is really the touch point between these different products, right? It's able to do the conversions, it's able to do the translations, and then it's able to actually send that data to the game engine.
Yeah, so all the arrows, all the shader effects works really cool inside Stingray and from 3ds Max.
Okay, so that's the stadium, but we want to also represent something as an overlay graphic.
Yes, that's what we want to do. I'm going to open my overlay information here. Let's see, I want to create the compass animation here. So that's the compass. It has no animation at all. So I'm going to select like a proxy arrow here so I can do a simple animation here. As we can see, I'm going to introduce you the new curve editor tools. We have like great tools in the curve editor. All the new UI in 3ds Max is so amazing. They are so cool. They are ready for high resolution monitors. So I have animated an X form here on a scale. I can, frame that animation. And now we have added buffer curves inside 3ds Max. That's amazing. Why is that? Because now I can take animation here and I can take a snapshot. I can change my animation. And my previous animation is going to be stored. It's going to be, it's going to be freezed. So I can compare animations on the fly. So I can play here. It's going to play my modify animation. I say, I didn't like it. I want to go back. So I can swap and go back to the previous animation. And we can do the comparison.
You can audition different variations.
Exactly. So I like this animation. I snapshot it. I'm going to create a preset. So I'm going to create preset. I will choose the visibility that I have animated and the scale. We can choose anything that we have keyframed. So I will say, OK, I will name it as an NAB preset, and I'm going to save it. So it's have already been saved. Now I can even delete my arrow here, look for my other arrows, and let's create a compass animation here. Let me load the preset. It's NAB here. Let's hit OK. I'm going to apply to all of them, increase the timeline of my 3ds Max here for my animation, and I'm going to hit play. So I have created a simple animation, and now I want to change the loop. I want to be forward. I can change on the fly here, for example, the time of my animation, how long one animation is going to wait for another one to begin. And now we can have like crazy and good customizable animations.
Yeah, these presets are great. I mean, they just save so much time.
So let's connect the Text Plus with real-world data, Bill. So I'm going to say, OK, I want to look for anything that's in the scene that can feed my wind speed value here. So I'm going to look for one expression. I will pick up my manipulator here that I have created to receive my wind speed value. I'm going to connect it. I want to say I want 2 digits, and I will insert that in my text. Once I do it, I can take my manipulator, and my manipulator is going to control my wind speed variation here, so we can develop that and do some crazy animation about it.
And again, you can bring the real-world data from CFD to display here.
Yes. And one good thing about Text Plus inside Max, I have applied animation in Text Plus, and check it out. It's applying to all my characters in one time. But with Text Plus, we can like break out my geometry in characters, for example. So I can look for character here. I'm going to select it. So now every character is going to be independently controlled. And the last thing I want to do here is to create the animation for my background. So in order to do that, I'm going to run a script here, which is going to detach all my faces. So I have detached all my faces. It's going to be really cool. I need just to center my pivot here. Reset the X form. So I'm going to be ready to apply any kind of preset here. It's going to work really cool. And I will load a preset that I have already done. I'm going to show you my preset before applying it. So my preset, it's a fold paper with a bend modifier. So we can create presets with modifiers too, not only with transformations. We can create really complex presets. So that's the kind of preset I'm going to apply here. Okay, so I will select my boxes again. I'm gonna fold it, so I need more faces. I'm gonna apply like a third smooth here. Look for my preset, load it, and it's gonna be a fold paper preset, that the preset I have already saved. I'm gonna apply. It's applying, it's loading my 3ds Max scene right now, my preset, and let's see how it works. So every paper of my background here is working pretty well. So we can see that my preset is set as a ping pong. I want to be like reverse. It's gonna begin from bottom top. If I hit play here,
Nice.
it's gonna work really cool way.
So-
We can change on the fly, like every time animation, the animation loop, and anything that we want.
So 3ds Max is great for creating these really, really nice overlay graphics. And again, the connectivity to CFD will allow us to display that wind speed at the same time.
Brilliant.
Now we've got some guys we want to put on the field. We got the stadium. We've got the
Yeah.
overlay graphics. Let's talk about the players.
Yeah, I know about soccer.
Yeah.
I'm Brazilian.
You're Brazilian, yeah.
So that's the character that we have here. Let's talk about how can we prepare like characters, animation to be on the on the field, to send to Stingray, for example. So I want to create a new skin here. I'm gonna look for my skin. I'm begin from scratch, so I'm gonna add all my bonds here. Ooh, I have to select all of them, all set. So that's the previous result we used to have in 3ds Max, which is really challenging to create a nice skin modifier here. There's a lot of work we have to polish in order to create a nice skin. But now with 3ds Max 2017, we have a great algorithm, which is the voxel skin. The voxel skin, the only thing I have to worry about now is the resolution. So the resolution, I'm gonna set like a medium, almost low resolution for my whole body here. I'm gonna apply it, and boom, it's done. So I can check it out, the results. It's amazing. So in a real one-click way, I have like 90-95% of my mesh done for animation. But let's see that I just have done my skin here, but I have like some really detailed places as the finger. I'm gonna select here my finger here. Let me just filter as a bone. Yes. So check it out. I have like some problems with like really small places, but now I can solve that using the voxel skinner. Why? How can I do it? So I can select all my vertex that I want to apply a higher resolution. I'm gonna go back to the voxel skin, increase the size of my resolution, gonna apply only this resolution about that place. So it's gonna take less effort of Max to calculate that. It's gonna be quicker. It's done already. I was
So
just
you
talking.
can have it selectively for different parts of your character.
Yeah, so I select my bone here again and say, now my finger works properly. So that's the really cool way to create like great skin inside 3ds Max. It's fast. So now we are gonna care about the t-shirt of my player. I'm gonna open my material here, and we have like 3 great maps inside 3ds Max now. We have like a mask, object mask map. We have a text map and a shape map. The 3 new maps we have inside 3ds Max. And how can we like work with them inside 3ds Max? So imagine we are gonna build up like we are gonna have like a championship with 20 teams. Each team, they have like 22 players.
Yeah.
Imagine that I want to create 22 plus times 20 t-shirts with different names, different numbers, different...
A tournament with 20 teams and 11 players on each team. It's
gonna
lot
take a long
of
time.
different,
It's a hard
swapping out a
work.
lot of different information.
Not anymore, Bill. Now we have like a way to, for example, I have 2 t-shirts. Sometimes teams can have like 2 or 3 t-shirts.
Yeah, and in fact, each of those 11 players on each team, and there's more players, but they have a
Yes.
home jersey, they have an
And
away jersey.
Exactly. So the only thing I have to care about now is who is going to control which t-shirt I'm going to use. So I'm going to say this box here. I'm going to link with my mask object here, my mask. So I will apply my material here on my character. So when my box is inside my character, I can render it's going to render as a green t-shirt. If I take it out, I will change my character to the visitor. Easy. So we can set up
It's
like
that fast
a
to
rig.
just make a swap.
Yes, we can make a swap, or we can make an art that someone's going to play for both teams.
Wow.
So we have like a way to work as a 3D mask object here. That's great material map, actually, that we have done here in 3ds Max. So now I'm going to select my text plus here. I will copy that on my compositing material, okay? So my map here, which is the text map, I'm going to link it with the names. So let me look for my names here. All my names are done with text plus, so I have to select my name here. I have to select my number. I'm going to play with 9. And I'm going to select my shape here. So once I've done it, everything is going to be like attached to text plus, which is really great. I'm going to render. It's going to have my name, my number, and the shape map. Let's say, Bill, you're going to play my team here.
Okay, yeah, so we're starting the process of building out all the different players. Let's put me into the mix, and I'd like to be number 11.
11. Nice number. I like that.
Well, I don't want to assume I'm number 10. You know, let's just, in soccer, that's the big guy, so
Yes,
I'll
the
just be
big
number
guys.
11.
Pelé was number 10.
That's right.
He was the king.
Okay, and that
Number
quickly,
11,
we've got
Bills.
our variation, right? And
Yes.
again, if you move that mask over, we could have the blue version.
Let's move it.
The away version, right? So again, we're just trying to communicate how flexible it is within 3ds Max to make these alternate, variations, these changes, these versions. It's really fast.
And let's see how that works inside Stingray. We have built the project here. We are going to have the wind simulation. We are going to have the overlay information. We're going to have the lineup experience. It's pretty awesome.
But we're in a 3D game engine. So
All
Stingray is the
connected.
3D game engine, so we can actually, do a lot more with our real-time rendering. So this looks really great. Again, Max does amazingly high-quality design visualization. We can
Let's see,
get
you
different
want to
points
know
of view on the field.
What about the wind comes from the south? 23 miles per hour. And our lineup configuration here.
And you're controlling the change. So now we're getting the camera move from the overview of the players on the field, right?
So let's say I want to add something like a VR experience. So that's you viewing the field.
Yeah. See, I'm now.
What's your point of view in the field?
Yeah.
Imagine that you are wearing a VR
headset,
glasses, a
yeah.
headset. So that's your
This
point
is what
of view.
I would see, and when
And
I
you
could
can
look
control.
around.
Yes, you can look
I could
around.
look behind me any direction.
Yes.
Let's take a look from the point of view of the goalie.
The goalie is gonna watch the game.
So now he can see inside the goal. He can look up and down. The
Yeah.
point here is that if you're actually using that real world data, you could even position yourself in a particular seat in the stadium and get a preview of what it would look like for the concert or the game. So there's a lot of different applications for this in the real world.
Yes.
Now,
So-
we talked about the goal a little bit. I wanted to also mention the creative market. I think is another important
Yes.
thing to mention as we sort of
I'm gonna
round out
reopen
this
my
presentation.
scene. And let's see, we wanna rebuild that scene as a soccer stadium and not a American football stadium. So we can look for assets in an online store, or maybe you have done it before, you have in your storage. You can look for it using the new asset library in 3ds Max. So, for example, I have done my soccer grass here, and I will look for the new 3ds Max asset library. We have released it like 3 or 4 days ago only, the new version, of course. So that's my asset library. I have like all my assets here. We can see they are already, we have collections. Imagine that I want to, I have all my assets. I want to, for example, I have a jet engine here. I want to add that as an engineer collection. So just click and drag. I'm going to have my Max file here. So I have my goalpost here, and I want to add that into my scene. So I can select, click and drag. Whoops, I did something wrong here, sorry. It's this one, and I'm gonna select it.
There you go.
And here's my goal.
So you can just
Inside
quickly,
my
within the application, go grab various assets that you need. So
Yes.
again, you don't lose any time. You keep your momentum going as you're building out the
Exactly.
environment.
So we can like organize our files and have like a quick access to them using the asset library.
How
It's a
about
great
Creative
way.
Market? Do you want to show me that trophy?
Yes.
I'd like to see the trophy if you still have
So
it.
in Creative Market, we can connect to Creative Market inside 3ds Max. We don't have to leave 3ds Max. We don't have to open, I don't know, Chrome or Firefox or any browser you work with. So we can look for all the assets we have. Let's see. I want to look for soccer stuff here. I'm gonna.
And
That's the
there's,
trophy, though.
There's the trophy. You know, you're familiar with that trophy.
Yeah, we got like 5 of them.
Okay, so now he's showing off, right? He's from Brazil. He's got 5 of these. Okay. Well,
So
we'll get one someday. You watch out. We're coming.
I hope so, Bill.
All right, with that, let's start to wrap up. What did we see? Tell us what we saw in this demo, Rodrigo.
Awesome. So we have seen all the connection we can have with 3ds Max, bringing the SketchUp data, real-world data using InfraWorks. We did the wind simulation inside CFD. We did all the presets animation to create awesome overlay information, and we did all the character configuration for an lineup.
Yeah.
So we packaged everything up and sent to Stingray and had like a great experience.
Yeah, and again, if we had our Oculus viewer, we'd be able to look all around that environment in Stingray.
That's all connected.
Yeah, that's totally connected. Great job, Rodrigo. Round
Thank
of
you
applause
very
for
much.
Rodrigo. Thanks for coming all the way from Brazil to show us this presentation. With that, we're going to re-rack the reel. We're going to be back with a really cool presentation of Flame working with Maya in a broadcast context, so stick around.